Okay, next. This one can be very short or very, very long, depends on how well I manage to explain it to you. Again, back to the 4 essential movements. One of them is the baby scratching, right? And based on that, we added chirps on top. Cool. Now, another type of 2-click based vocal scratching technique is to use the Aquaman scratch. Now, a lot of people don't like the term Aquaman. I know that there's some history of it being called in a different way, and then somebody came in and said, no, this is Aquaman. I don't care about that. If you don't like Aquaman, just call it whatever you want. Aquaman to me is easy enough, because if people say delayed boomerang, it makes no sense to me, because the boomerang is just a delayed 2-click flare of different type. But Aquaman makes sense to me for this reason. A boomerang is a 2-click flare over 3 baby scratches, and an Aquaman is also a 2-click flare over 3 baby scratches. The boomerang is the version that starts from closed fader, and Aquaman is the version that starts with an open fader. As simple as this. If you need a tip about learning Aquaman, and this tip is very useful in case you never learned the boomerang as a variation of a 2-click flare, but you learned it in the way I did and most people did, which I believe is wrong, which is to learn boomerang as a combo of a slice and a stab. That confuses you a lot, but if this is how you learn the boomerang, what helped me to learn Aquaman is that you do the first 4 sounds of a typical traditional boomerang and you stop. And this is where the Aquaman begins. So Aquaman is a boomerang starting on the 5th sound of the boomerang, right? And back to vocal phrases. Why is that helpful? Because in a similar way to chirps, where we can just release the phrase and catch any syllable we want, fader is obviously open and we go right away into chirping. We can do the same with Aquamans. The first way in which I was performing Aquamans on vocal phrases was to start chirping and then from the chirps move into an Aquaman, like this. Because it was still way easier to me to move from the record going forward, fader open, straight into chirps. Going straight into Aquamans took really quite a while. But nevertheless, it's really cool and it sounds like this. Okay, as with anything else thus far in the whole series, I would like to do this, but be able to move forward and backward. Not much options here, except for if you combine it with the chirps, then you use any of the methods which I showed by far. So I can do... I can do 1 or 2 Aquamans and then move into chirps, and from the chirps use the OG flare to go back. Or of course with chirps, something like this. It gets even slicker if you already can do your Aquaman chirps and chirps Aquamans, which is the reverse option, and insert this into your vocal cuts and then combine with being able to go forth and back. Goes like this. Right, so speaking of Aquamans, which are an open fader boomerang, what about boomerangs? I have only one way to use boomerangs on vocal cuts, and the reason for having only one way is that other than drops, I don't really find it convenient to try to apply closed fader techniques on phrases, because I like to release the phrase and be able to scratch it right away. And for that reason, there's just one specific combo which only occasionally I do on vocal phrases. And I'll show it to you guys first on the ah sound. And it's basically a boomerang into baby scratch into 4 stabs, but the timing is such. If I'm first showing it slowly, I'll do the boomerang in 16th notes. And then do the baby scratch in 16th notes. And then the stabs will be 8 notes. Let's make sense of it. And this way it's a whole 1-bar combo. Now if we do it twice as fast, we do a double time boomerang, double time baby scratch and 16th note stabs, and then we can do it twice a bar. Okay, so I've already explained the combo. Here's what it sounds like on a phrase. And it needs only a few clarifications. So obviously I start boomerang and baby scratch on the first syllable. And then I continue to double up. And then I have 1 extra stab out of the 4 stabs originally in the combo. And I still get 4 sounds. The rock is still from the baby scratch, so I get f instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. I get f. And from here, I discovered that this time, because I'm going back across syllables, but I'm not OG flaring, I'm just transforming. It doesn't really work to start doing 4 transforms when you have just these 3 sounds. So I actually stab it forward and then do 3 transforms back. Obviously you can go from 1 to 3 and from 3 to 5 too. But theoretically you can go from 5 to 3 and from 3 to 1, but I don't think I've really practiced that. I just came up with that right now. Yeah, I need to figure out the record movement because my hand gets too much to the right. But yeah, anyways, this is my boomerang combo which I apply on vocal cuts.